Oh, we're dog. Good evening, one and all. Welcome along. It's Tuesday night. It is myself and Mike, and we will be joined imminently by Mr. Paul, who is just currently getting his dinner out of the oven. So he will be with us in minutes.
He's got a bun in the oven. He's got a bun in the oven, but literally a bun.
A bun. Now, are we talking a haggis bun? Are we talking sweet bun? Are we talking white buns, brown buns?
I will find out when he arrives. We'll let people guess for now in the comments.
Yeah,
usually
absolutely.
It's pizza when it comes to Paul.
Yeah, it's generally a pizza bun. So we will find out when he joins us. Great to have Joe Joe joining us, and Joe has joined in and said he's got Kellen Moore in the oven. Very true, Joe. Very true. So make sure and send in your comments what your thoughts are to us tonight, folks. As you can see there, we're going to try. It is Project Prospect, and we are going to talk offensive tackle tonight. Now, offensive tackle, it's probably not a huge position of need, given that the Cowboys have Tyron Smith, Terrence Steele, Tyler Smith on the roster. They added Chuma Doga in free agency. But look, in the interest of giving everybody a full rundown on prospects, we're going to work through it anyway and see what we have.
Well, I mean, you say that it could actually be like, so the Cowboys are playing a bit of a dangerous game, really, when you think about it with Terrence Steele, with comments that they've made about putting him into guard and all the rest of it, because guard generally on a contract it pays less than a tackle, and the left tackle gets paid more than the right. But if you're only gonna put Terrence Steele and you're gonna bring him back because obviously he's a restricted free agent, and you bring him back and you put him on a 1-year contract or whatever, what are you doing at right tackle really beyond this season? You don't have a plan. So, like, yeah, it's a sneaky. It's depending really on how honest they're being, and I pay no attention, especially this time of year, to what coaches and owners and GMs say about their rosters.
Yeah,
but when you stop and you think about it, it's going to go one of two ways. They either need a right tackle or they need a left guard. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
And that's basically the way it works. So really, tackle is kind of still on the cards.
Yeah, 100%. And like, look, you never know where you're going to be in the 4th or 5th round. What's going to be available? What's going to be there? Because we still have Josh Ball on the roster. We still have Matt Willetsko that we have to figure out what we're doing with both of those guys as well. If there's someone in the 4th or 5th round that you like better than one of those two guys or both of those two guys, why would you not take them as well? So, like, you know, we're just, as we say, we're here to educate everybody on some of the prospects and where you might get them, why you might pick them up.
Always, we've seen it so many times, Brian. We've covered the draft a few times now. Yeah. And you can never predict what's going to happen in the draft and what's going to come to you. So you've got to leave options open, not just on who you want to draft, but what can fall to you and how that's going to change dynamically what happens to your roster.
Yeah, it's true. And in the spirit of the season that's in it, and it is the lying season, but we have started seeing, I suppose at this stage, most of the pro days are over now, and you are into top 30 visits. It is that, and Dallas Day, I think, is just around the corner as well. And that brings an awful lot of guys who are in the Dallas catchment area. What is it? It's about 50 miles from the area around Dallas that we can bring guys in if they've been in full-time education, either high school or college.
because the rules have changed now.
Mm.
So it goes all the way back to high school.
Yeah. And that does bring in, so I think that allows someone like Jackson Smith and Jigba to be brought in, because I think he's from
those type guys. Yeah.
So there's a lot of talent there. Lebarski is just bringing up the comment. Zay Flowers has been one of the 30 visits, and he's kind of surprised. Zay Flowers, your thoughts, Mike?
Basically, what you're looking at is, I know what you're saying is in terms of like the type of player he is and what we've got, but I think what they're doing when you look at it, because they've looked at pretty much nearly all the first round wide receivers. So in much of the way, which we'll talk about Thursday, is they kind of tip their hat, I think, in a way, in what they maybe not the first round, but certainly the second round. But what they're doing is they're just corralling all the early wide receivers and just going, what's there? What we need to take a look at all, because what will be available, whether that is that they will take one early in the first round, or whether that means they trade up in the second, because they're trying to get a feel for what these players are and whether they're worth it. So when you go through the list of wide receivers that they've not just brought in on 30 visits, but if you go back to the combine on who they've spoken to there, it really much now, I always say that it's not so much the players that they look at when it comes to 30 visits, it's the position groups I look at. And that kind of tells you a lot. So the fact that they've looked at so many wide receivers is just like, there you go. They've tipped their hat well early. And you say like you've got three wide receivers now. When they brought in Brandon Cook, do they need to know? And it's like, well, yeah. What are you doing beyond that? What happens if Michael Gallup isn't going to return to Michael Gallup? What if Brandon Cooks isn't what we expect him to be? And also beyond what happens from this season, what are you doing there? So wide receiver, and it's a West Coast offense. Oh, look who it is.
Hello.
Look who it is. It is our own wonderful Paul. And Paul, we're talking about the 30 visits, and Lebarski has mentioned Zay Flowers. Mike is kind of mentioning the fact that they've kind of brought in a lot of wide receivers. They've spoken to a lot of wide receivers, and maybe they're tipping their hat at wide receiver being pick 26.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. I mean, when you really kind of look down to it, like the possibilities of those positions of wide receiver could fall into that. Like guard could be out of the equation, tackle could be out of the equation, even tight end could be out of the equation. The ones that could be out there, like getting best value for money with that 5th-year option, could be that wide receiver. So, I mean, I'm not against it. So, because end of the day, like you may have like Brandon Cooks there for whatever amount of time, but what beyond after that as well. So,
and to be fair, I think the way Cooks' deal is structured is they can effectively get out of this deal after 2023.
There's not much on it. Basically, he's not playing for any guaranteed money next year.
Right.
It's all incentives.
So it allows them that flexibility. You find out what's going on with Michael Gallup this season. You find out what you have with Brandon Cooks. You try and find out what you have, if anything at all, with Jalen Talbot, with Simi Fehoko, if they're going to be players, because it's the one thing in recent seasons the Cowboys have always had. It was Cedric Wilson in 21. It was Noah Brown in 22. That fourth guy who gave you a little bit of something in addition to your main targets. So, we need to find out. And as you said, Mike, with moving to a West Coast offense, you need to have a 5th guy and potentially a 6th guy on your roster.
Yeah,
you've got to get you 400 or 500 yards.
And they all need to be different types. You need you need an eclectic mix of various body types and skill set. Just because everything's got to be continuously moving. You've got to keep shuffling things around. That's just how it works.
Yeah. So just Lebarski's comment here, and this kind of feeds into the next point I was going to get on to. The more I analyze the team and draft depth, I'm terrified about left guard. Almost feels like we've take left guard in the first, or we're back to moving players around once Tyron is injured.
That's a great comment. I fully agree in that, because we saw it. I believe it was yesterday or today.
Yeah.
Or, Steve Avila was visit the Star, and he was posting it on his Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we might have to reach for a left guard, because I don't if we go into that second round, we don't go for left guard. Avila's going to be gone by the time it comes to our pick.
He's
gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
So we might need to take the initiative and actually just you know what, we've got a guy for 5 years. Let's just go with left guard. Give that more. And when you do kind of think about it, there's other players in that second round you could probably pick up, like your Jalen Hyatt, who is another guy who visited the Star today, who is going to be a second rounder as well. So I think for us right now, we're actually starting to see a lot more flexibility, and I think a lot of that is now down to the fact that we did so well in free agency. We've actually got a lot of options going into this draft now.
Yeah, I actually think personally, and every time I run a mock draft and do it, it's either way. Yeah, but either way, if I go wide receiver or inside line in the first, to come back around, I want to go the opposite of that. So if I take wide receiver first, I need to go inside offensive line in the second. If I do it the other way around, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
But when I do it, I have to trade up in the second, because all the guys
exactly
that you want are gone. So that's not a bad thing, mine, because I've noticed that once you get further down in this draft, I'm not so much bothered about the talent more in day 3. I know this is going to freak you guys out because you like the picks rather than, you want as many lottery tickets as you can. And I get that. But I just think that why not trade up in the second? Go get those. So you've got your 2 guys. The rest of the draft, then just figure it out once you get there.
That's a fair point. I mean, I wouldn't freak out about it. I would maybe it just depends who's on the board. As does really boil down to, who's there really worth to move up 5-10 places.
Oh no, yeah, definitely, yeah. But I'm saying that when you're looking at it, I'm when it gets to the second round, and I start seeing, especially the smaller wide receivers, your Zay Flowers, your Tank Dells, they start flying off the board. I'm thinking, and that makes me want to trade up. And I'll go get the last remaining couple of second round wide receivers. Go get them before they're gone.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the draft, then I kind of just potch around with it and fill it with defensive linemen, defensive ends.
Yeah.
It's just the best way I can see it working.
Yeah, I mean, I said this to Meg on the Worlds team over the weekend. It's of all the positions, I think, and this kind of goes back to what Lebarski was just saying in the comments. Of all the positions that we have right now, left guard is probably the most needed in attention right now in terms of get out for me anyway.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've lost Conor McGovern. He's now away to the Bills, and if there's one thing we don't want to be doing is shifting players out of their natural position. We don't want to move Terrence Steele inside. We don't want to switch Tyler Smith inside. Whatever, we're better just drafting an actual natural guard in there and actually and stick him in there. So, and in the later rounds, we may double dip into that position. Who knows? But like a wide receiver, we've got wide receivers, but not enough to kind of go and for this rotation. The West Coast offense, I totally agree. And do we draft? Would we even draft a tight end? Possibly. And there's obviously the talk about Bijan Robinson as well. And don't get me wrong. I do like Bijan, but I just don't think he'd be good as he's not good at pass protection, but I get it with the 5th-year option. I get it. But anyway, but offensive line, yeah, I think it is a worry. So what is it, Ryan?
I'm just laughing because the way you were talking, I'm going, has Paul got a camera in my bedroom or something like that? Because I had something planned for tonight and I hadn't said it to either of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're gonna jump into that before we talk about the offensive tackles.
Well, before you do that, can you bring up Little Mac's comment?
Yeah. Cody Mock in the second.
Yes, I would. If we do decide not to go offensive line in that first round and Cody Mock is there at 58, sign me up. I would take him, but I think he'll be gone before us, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually think inside defensive lineman is more important, though.
Well, we have kind of catered it for this year with Jonathan Hankins, but we will need to double down on it. Like we will need to draft one. Like if Seike Aika is available, maybe in the 3rd round. Like remember lastly when I know I keep talking about Neville Gallimore and stuff, but remember when I said I thought Neville Gallimore would have been like it could have been touted as a late 1st round, early 2nd round, but we ended up getting him in the 3rd round. Yeah. That could possibly happen with some of these guys. Who knows? It's just because some other teams might have more attention of desperate need of a certain position, and all these actual good players might fall down the order and might fall in our lap. I mean, it happened to us. It happened to us with CD Lamb, like in the 1st round all those years ago. So but I'm not worried about this year's draft at all, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the talent is not as a talented drafter, and I've said this before, as it has been in the past. Which is the problem. But my biggest issue, and it came up when I was thinking about it, doing the mailbag this week. And one of the questions was about which side of the ball, and I said inside offensive line is most important on the offensive side, and inside defensive line is on the defensive side. I said, but the trouble is when you look at it, if the Cowboys drafted an inside offensive lineman this year, right, that's four 1st round offensive linemen on that line. How many 1st round defensive linemen do the Cowboys have?
None.
Do you know when the last time we drafted a defensive lineman in the 1st round was?
DeMarcus Ware.
Russell Maryland.
Yeah, 1991.
Wow.
So, like, when you think about it, where the talent's shifting to, I just think, like, can you really have 4 1st round picks on the line and not a single one on the defense?
I mean, again, it kind of goes back to the whole who's available. Like,
I get that. Definitely.
And saying that, and I'm glad you did point this out, mate. Like, because like the defensive interior, like you've got the guy from Clemson, you've got what's the other guy from Georgia? Like he's not doing himself any favors right now, as we know. Like someone sacked that guy's agent. Sorry, but but if any of those like guys that are projected to be 1st rounds and they're at 26, then obviously there's going to be a big decision to be made within the with Will McClay and Stephen Jones to do whatever. And you're smiling there because you're thinking what I'm thinking, aren't you, Brian?
You don't know what I've planned for once you stop. So
all right, go ahead, my friend.
Right. So as I say, I didn't tell you what I was going to do for tonight. So Paul Stewart, I'm changing your name to Will McClay. Mike Bones, I'm changing your name to Jerry or Stephen Jones.
Can I get their bank account numbers?
What?
Can I get their bank account numbers if I'm playing them?
You can.
Yeah,
I am going to give you a number of scenarios tonight.
Ooh, right.
For pick 26. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the scenario. I have a backup in place for that scenario. And you're going to decide between the two of you what the pick is going to be. Okay?
Okay.
Are you with me on this?
Yeah. I'm very intrigued what you have up received there, Brian.
Yeah. So, at pick 26, you have the following 6 players available to you.
Okay.
You have offensive tackle Paris Johnson, edge Nolan Smith, wide receiver Quentin Johnson, running back Bijan Robinson, offensive guard Osiris Torrance, and defensive tackle Miles Murphy.
Well, there we go. It's Miles Murphy.
Yeah.
So Mike and Paul, or sorry, I mean Will and Stephen, I'm going to let you discuss those options, and I might interject.
Right. So run me the names again. So Paris Johnson,
Nolan Smith, Quentin Johnson, Bijan Robinson, Osiris Torrance, and Miles Murphy.
Right. What I will say out of those names, the Jerry pick of those picks, sorry, Mike, I am kind of stepping on your foot. The Jerry pick would have been Quentin Johnson, TCU. That would have been like the Jerry type of pick, the one that really stands out, and everyone in Texas would go, oh, amazing.
And it's a splashy move, and it's a money position.
Exactly. And fifth year option, etc., blah, blah, blah. But in terms of like Osiris Torrance, I do like him, but I think he is like out of those players, I would actually put him at the last out of those guys.
Okay.
I don't know what you think, Mike.
Say that again.
Out of those players that Brian mentioned, I would put Osiris Torrance at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, because Osiris Torrance is I watching it over and over again. Osiris Torrance is a right guard, and we've got a right guard.
Yeah, we don't need a right guard. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Then after that, Nolan Smith, as much as he had a fantastic combine, I would put him second last because we don't necessarily need him as much. Despite how amazing he is, and whoever he goes to, he's going to be an absolute freak of nature. But who knows? There is the possibility we could and actually shift Micah back into just being a more natural linebacker. We don't know. We just don't know. But my gut feeling is just out of those names would be Miles Murphy.
Yes, exactly the same.
Miles Murphy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to cut across you guys for a second, okay? And it's great to see that everyone is interacting with this.
Actually, that's actually quite a good comment from Ultra Cowboy. You draft Paris Johnson, let's still walk in 2024. That's actually
that works. That does work.
That does work as well. I mean, that's why like Johnson, Miles Murphy, and Quentin Johnson are the top three out of those names, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Paris Johnson work because it gives you an out with Terrence Steele for. And bear in mind, Terrence Steele still hasn't effectively signed. So at the moment, you've tendered him, you've put the second round tender on him. He's not actually touted to play. He's not on any contract yet.
Sorry, say that again.
I said he's not actually down. He's not.
Oh no, who are we talking about? Sorry,
Terrence Steele.
Oh, Terrence Steele. Yeah.
So
effectively, go on. Sorry,
I'm just going to jump in here because I've just had a phone call, and that team who I dare not ever mention have said they want pick 26.
Okay. What are they offering?
They're offering you pick 26 and a third round pick.
No.
Wait, pick 26 and no, we've got the 26th pick.
They're offering
no.
Pick 30 and their third round pick.
No.
Okay.
No. Like, if it was me, it would have to be
their second round pick.
Nope.
It would need to be more than that. I would say, like, if they really want to move at those couple of places and it's a player that they really, really wanted, we don't want to give them any advantage at all. I would fleece the hell out of them. I would say like it needs to be at least 2 second rounders, at least. Like from
they don't have another second rounder. So,
but I mean for the following year. I mean,
okay.
So therefore, it kind of ruins them in the long run as well.
Yeah. So effectively, you want pick 31 or pick 30, their second round pick, and their 2024 second round pick.
At least, at very least.
So they have come back and said no.
Well, tough luck. Not getting it.
So hold on, right? What is 26, which is just get my value chart up.
I have Jimmy's trade chart open here in front of me, so ask me any questions you want.
So that's worth 700.
Yeah. So effectively, you're giving up.
No. They're not even close. So no.
So we're both saying no. So we're down to Paris Johnson and Miles Murphy.
It's Miles Murphy.
Is that the card you're turning in, Paul?
It's close. I will say that.
It is close, yeah. But in terms of the future in terms of resolving your defensive interior, I think it makes more logical sense because we've only got I just mentioned his name. Jonathan Hank is back for 1 year. Oh, cheers, DJ Don. I much appreciate that. I'm a hardballer across the negotiations. That's the Scottish side of me, mate. But yeah,
sorry,
I can't mess up on Miles Murphy if that's the case.
I'm going to interject again.
Oh, okay.
They have come back. They're offering their first round pick this year and their first round pick next year. But they've told you who they want.
Right, okay, who do they want?
They want Bijan Robinson.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference because from pick 26 at that, I can't. What players really? What team is going to pick? I suppose there's a few that would.
I think so. 26 to the 5, so we're going to be missing out 5 players. So that the likely chance of those players that you've mentioned there, Brian, are all going to be gone. So
that's why it gave 6 players, right?
Wait. So they're gonna just give you their offer is we give them pick 26 and they give us their first round pick next year
and this year. So you're getting pick 31 and a first in 2024.
Add a 4th on top of that as well.
No.
Like Chris said, the way I'm seeing it, mate, like the players that I did want, I'm going to miss out. So I want some extra compensation for that. Or give me a player that they have in their roster they're willing to send over.
Hold on.
They've said first this year, first next year. You will still have an option of Paris Johnson, Nolan Smith, Quentin Johnson, Osiris Torrance, or Miles Murphy being available to you.
There's still because there's only going to be 3 picks, and they take Bijan Robinson. All right, so be it. But
so who's the other teams after that?
After Bills, Bengals, Saints.
Bills might go for Quentin Johnson, so that could be out the window.
You have a minute to turn in the card.
I'd probably take that deal for the first. See, I'm tempted.
Especially
because what I can do next year with that first round pick, not so much in terms of having 2 picks in the first round, but how I can trade my way through the first round.
Yeah.
And
plus, it screws
30 seconds.
And also it screws up the Eagles for the future as well. And plus, we get another 5-year contract basically for a first round pick.
If you wanted to, I'd probably
10 seconds.
What do you think, Mike? Go for it. Go for the trade.
Yeah, I would take that.
Yep, we're looking
at the trade.
Yeah, we'll take the trade.
I like it, gents. I like it.
You took one first round pick into 2, so why not?
Right. Okay. So I take it now you're going to tell us the scenario of the players that are available at now number 31.
Nope.
Right? Oh, nope. Brian.
Nope. You have picked up, as I say, you've picked up. You have picked 31. You have a first round pick next year as well. So we do have a couple. We do, yeah. Keanu Benton's still on the board. So
what about our Steve Avila? Would he be available?
Yeah.
See that's now answers the question for that though, Mike. I don't know about you, but because now I'd be more comfortable drafting Steve Avila at number 30 or 31, wherever the position that is, and take Avila again.
Depending. If Miles Murphy's still available to me there, I'm taking that pick over Avila.
Oh yeah.
Bear in mind, right? You've got two first round picks. So there's nothing stopping you from trading up in the second to go get Steve Avila before he leaves early in the second round.
We would need something back along with that. Like if we're so if we're in the second round and we're trying to move up to get Avila using that first round draft pick, we would need to get something else on top of that pick.
Yeah.
So because it would be too lopsided.
Definitely. As I say, I have more scenarios.
Aha.
So again, these scenarios start at pick 26. All right. So you have available to you at pick 26 Anthony Richardson, Michael Mayer.
Ooh, tempting.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
No.
Also tempting.
Devin Witherspoon.
Even more tempting.
Lucas Van Ness.
No.
Yeah, still haven't figured him out.
Jalen Carter. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to discuss your thoughts. I thought you might like that scenario. All right.
Okay.
Go for it, mate. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
It's Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
It's plain and so Jalen Carter still, regardless. I know people are saying, and we said at the start of the show, the bad agent. I mean, put it this way. I know why his agent has said it, because the Eagles have guaranteed him to be picked at pick 10. So there we go. But let's say that it's not and he falls all the way down. Jalen Carter on my board is still the third best player.
Overall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it when people say, oh, well, look at the combine. The combine was bad. Look at the pro day. The pro day was bad. He's interviewing poorly. And I know going all the way back into Georgia, there's things about his levels of immaturity and everything. Okay, fair enough. The guy still, though, go and watch Georgia games. He's one of the best 3-tech/1 tech defensive.
I was just about to intervene when you just mentioned 3-techs. Like, I think we've got enough 3-techs. We just need a proper and true 1-tech.
It doesn't matter really with Carter. He will drift between, because I mean the guy is so talented, both as a pass rusher who can give you the tools, but also bull rush, push players back into the quarterback. But he'll also anchor and cover in 2-gap as well. I mean, the guy is just a demon.
Mm-hmm.
I would if it was that scenario. I don't know. Like,
Carter fills a massive need.
I'm just saying, if the second round, just saying in scenario, second round, and say Ike's there, I would take him 100%.
He's nowhere close to Carter, though.
I know, but he at least he's a proper 1-tech.
Mm-hmm.
Carter will instantly.
Any interest in offensive players here, gents?
Mayer was interesting.
Mayer,
I like Mayer. But to me, in that scenario, it's between Witherspoon and Carter. They're the two. JSN is kind of like a few picks down from that, but it's between. But like, I would take Carter over Witherspoon.
Ring. Your phone is going.
Wait, hold on, Brian. I've actually got the music for this for you. There you go.
There we go. So the Houston Texans are on the phone.
What pick are they? Jeez.
First pick of the second round.
At two, with pick 202.
Yeah.
They haven't drafted a quarterback yet.
Yeah.
They didn't go quarterback with their first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering you their pick 202, their pick 302.
Wait, slow down.
What do you mean by pick? What do you mean pick 02, 202?
The second pick in the second round, the second pick in the third round.
Right, okay.
And a 2024 second round pick.
No. The value's good, but I'm missing out on two very big players that I'm definitely not going to... Looking at the Bengals, looking at the Saints, the Chiefs, they're not making it past there.
That's a fair point. Laporta could be there in the second. Yeah, I thought if it was me, Mike, I'd probably stick with Carter, to be honest.
And me. It's very close, because I would like to have Witherspoon to fall that far, but like the only thing that's holding me back on the Carter is like, because we don't get to see it, is you would be as Jerry Jones and Will McClay and Stephen Jones. The question would be like, why is he falling this far? Like, let's find out. Let's dig a little deeper while we got a chance. And I'd be doing that like maybe 4 or 5 picks before. So, like the Chargers pick, if he's there, I'm starting to make phone calls.
This is where you need Kevin and Costner to do his homework, mate.
Yeah. You need to get that investigator in.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you
did he take the money?
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you the 1 minute warning, gents. You have a minute. Houston have made an offer.
Yep. Right. So remind me the draft picks again that they're offering. So
they're giving you their second round pick this year, their third round pick this year, and their second round pick in 2024.
Can we have potentially maybe kind of negotiate that?
Potentially.
Wait, hold on a minute. I'm trying to think who.
Now, don't forget, you're under a minute. You're hitting 30 seconds.
Oh, right, hold on a minute here. Right, like basically,
I'm still taking Carter.
I know
off Carter at the moment.
I know, mate. But I'm just trying to think of other scenarios that we could possibly consider here. So
you're at 15 seconds, Paul. And the team behind you already have their card written out.
I'll tell you what. What about? I know. I tell you what. Give me an extra 15 seconds just to hear me out here. All right, hear me out. What about the second round for this year, the third round for next year, but guard Kenyon Green?
Nope.
Damn it!
And time has run out.
No,
Jalen Carter is now off the board.
What?
Jalen Carter has been selected.
Yeah,
and Houston are no longer willing to offer you the same scenario.
We were going to say we were going to select Jalen Carter if I didn't negotiate the pick anyway. So you can't say we forfeited.
You have.
No, we haven't.
Time ran out. I said time was running out, and the team behind us already had their card ready.
Brian, me and Mike just said it's like if we can get in a trade, then we're going to pick Jalen Carter. That's what we said.
Yeah, but time ran out, and the team behind us put their selection straight in.
Mate.
So you don't you're now.
Nah, that's some cap.
Yeah.
That's cap.
So you have lost out on Jalen Carter. You're still on the clock effectively. Pick 20. The 28 team could be picking now. They've taken Michael Mayer. You're losing out here, boys. Who's your pick?
Witherspoon has to be. Fuck. Nah, I'm not accepting this. I am not accepting this. This is some absolute BS, man.
I gave you sufficient warnings. I gave you a 1 minute warning, a 30-second warning.
Aye, but we constantly said it's going to be Jalen Carter unless we could actually think of an extra trade. But no, obviously.
But time ran out, Paul. And the teams behind you have a right to
we had the piece of paper said Jalen Carter, mate.
It doesn't matter. You didn't hand it in.
Ah, of course, shit.
So okay, Paul, you're sufficiently peed off. So you're forewarned, okay? This is the third scenario I'm giving you.
I don't want to play this game no more.
So Devin Witherspoon is the pick, and we're moving on. All right.
Right, fine.
Right.
It should have been. It is Carter, but let's go for Witherspoon anyway.
So this is your third scenario, all right? So you know the parameters now. All right, I'll give you the minute, I'll give you 30 seconds, 15 seconds. You have to make a pick. So Dalton Kincaid, Christian Gonzalez, Brian Breesy, Will Levis, Darnell Washington, and Jalen Hyatt are the best available players for you.
Top of my head right now, mate. I'm thinking Gonzalez.
Gonzalez would be a good pick there. Yeah, he's. Hold on, let me go on my board.
Wait, hold on, Labarsky. Enough with the chit chat, you.
Yeah, Gonzalez is my highest.
Yeah.
Not interested in quarterback. Breesy's interesting, but I worry about the injury.
How much time do we have?
You have 3 minutes.
Oh, we've done an extension. Oh, no, we're no, Brian. No, that's fantastic.
Who were the other guys?
Oh, hell no.
So you've Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, no.
Christian Gonzalez, Brian Breesy, Will Levis, Darnell Washington, and Jalen Hyatt.
Yes, Gonzalez all the way.
Yep, let's seal it up.
Yeah, right. Straight away.
Just before that happens, the Indianapolis Colts have come in with a trade offer.
Ah, great. Okay.
They're offering you pick 204. And they're second next year. And they haven't drafted a quarterback yet.
Nah, no
thanks.
No.
Yeah, nah.
So
not for top. Not
your fingers enough, have I?
Yeah, and Gonzalez again. Like for me, any of the top 10 players. Like if I've got a first round grade on them, I'm not trading out of the first. Gonzalez. I get the reasons why you would do it. But I'm just not. It's back to the Jalen Carter talk. I'm just not do. If I've got 17 first round grades, 16 first round grades, any of them, if they fall into it, and I know I've got to eat
1 minute
because Will Levis has one. But
you know what we should have? We should actually have the countdown music so we know. Dun, 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 boom.
That's only 30 seconds though, Paul. Yeah, I see. When we're on the 30-second mark, that would have been handy. Yeah.
So you're at 30 seconds, gentlemen.
Oh, there we go. Now you can play the music. No, I'm Gonzalez.
There we go. So we're picking Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, while you're at that, I'm going to get the countdown music so we can add this to the stream so people can know what
it's off-putting though.
What?
This is your final scenario, okay?
When I watch Countdown and the music's playing, I can't concentrate with it going off.
So your final scenario, and this doesn't start at 26 for once. It's pick 20, and the Seattle Seahawks have picked up the phone, and are willing to offer you pick 20 for pick 26, pick 90, and pick 128. So that's our first, our third, and our fourth round picks.
Right.
The 6 best available players to you are running back Bijan Robinson, tight end Michael Mayer, offensive tackle Broderick Jones, edge Nolan Smith, cornerback Christian Gonzalez, and quarterback Anthony Richardson.
Sorry, say the names again. I'm too focused on the countdown music.
Bijan Robinson, Michael Mayer, Broderick Jones, Nolan Smith, Christian Gonzalez, and Anthony Richardson.
Again, it's Gonzalez, personally.
Now, do you want to trade up? This is your discussion, really, is do you want to trade up? And what's your price to trade up?
To trade up from moving off Gonzalez, or that's who's available by trading away all of that.
For
trading away my first, second, and fourth, yeah.
Your first, your third, and your fourth. You're trading away your first, third, and fourth, but they're the 6 best available players to you at pick 20.
No, and I'll tell you why. Is that from 20, and you look at the teams that are picking, they all want wide receivers or offensive playmakers more than anything. So, like, Chargers at 21. Vikings at 23, don't know. Jags, no. Giants, no. So, I could get a couple of those defensive plays. And Mayer's in the mix still as well. You possibly go to one of those teams. So it's going to work in favor if I just stand fast and wait for one of those guys to come to me. Hold on.
So no. Do you want to
like the Ravens, right? Picking a 22. What are they doing with Lamar Jackson? And you talked about Anthony Richardson being there. That's about to fall into their lap. So that's one less player I'm going to worry about because they will take him there.
Yeah. So do you want to turn down the Seattle Seahawks offer?
Yes, especially because generally the Cowboys, don't ask me why this generally happens, but their 4th round picks are usually like, especially, like that 3rd and 4th round guy. That you kind of always we do it a lot where you switch them around and you go, oh, now the value looks really good. It's always those 2 picks that seem to work out, or one of those 2 picks that work out quite well. So I'd rather stick with where I am, wait for it to come, wait for that board to fall to me with those players. Defensive players are going to come down to me. Then I've still got my pick on the 3rd and the 4th, where I'm going to find that golden egg in there somewhere.
So do we want to say no to Seattle?
We're saying no.
Okay. So Seattle pick Christian Gonzalez at 21.
Yeah, okay.
Chargers pick Bijan Robinson. Seahawks take Gonzalez at 21. Chargers take Bijan Robinson at 21. Keep saying it's the wrong number. Baltimore Ravens select Anthony Richardson at 22. You get a phone call at pick 23. For the same deal, they want pick 26, pick 90, and pick 128. You have Michael Mayer, Nolan Smith, or Broderick Jones available. Do you want to trade up?
So Mayer's going there. He's going to go to that team. They're going to take him. Who are the 3 players left?
Mayer,
Jones, and Nolan Smith.
He's not going. No, I'm holding fast still.
Yeah, I'm holding fast.
You're holding fast?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm staying at 26.
Michael Mayer is gone. Pick 24. They ring. They ask for your 1st, 3rd, and 5th.
No.
Yeah, nah. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not giving it. Oh, wait a minute. So who's available? Smith,
Nolan
Smith's
Smith
available.
and Broderick Jones.
See, Broderick Jones is a right tackle.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
What are you hoping
for the next 5 years?
Yeah, who are you hoping you're going to pick up in the 5th that's going to be better than Broderick Jones? Like, I would have to see the rest of the board, but just for the sake of playing this game, I get what you're doing. But just for the narrative of this.
How many seconds do we have left?
It's pick 25 is about to be handed in.
Do we have 30 seconds to make a decision?
30 seconds, yeah.
See, he's right. Broderick is right on the limit for me. He's the cheater grade.
I don't know, man. I'm letting you make the decision. Like, obviously, I'm just me being the main scouting guy. I'm really So I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade.
I will. I'll take Broderick Jones, please, and I'll trade.
You've traded pick. You've
wait a minute. Hold on. No, wait. Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, wait.
Just realize what you just traded for?
Yeah, wait. Stop. And I just realized, so it's Jags and then the Giants. But I know what you're going to do, Brian. So you're going to be sneaky. I know exactly what's going to happen. But no, I'm not trading because I know that these pair aren't going to take it. So no, I'm not trading.
You're not trading, okay.
But wait, hold on a minute. How does he get to make that expiry decision now? We've went past it.
I get the allowance because I was chatting away.
Hell no.
To be fair, Mike, you actually said you were trading the 1st, 3rd, and 5th.
No.
So you have to stand on your decision.
No. I've taken it back. I've got no cancel it.
No, you have to stand on your decision.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Nah. I'm letting you know. I've cancelled the trade.
Yes, tell Jerry sucks.
No is the trade.
So the trade has been accepted by the NFL. Roger Goodell is on the phone to you saying you are making you have the pick. You have 2 minutes left on the clock to make this pick. At pick 24. So you've Broderick Jones or Nolan Smith.
How's Broderick Jones? Yeah, but Broderick Jones, I would take the pick there.
So
whatever.
Whatever.
So Broderick Jones is the pick. We've given up our 1st rounder, our 3rd rounder, our 5th rounder, but we do get our right tackle of the next 5 years.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have actually taken that trade. Just
that's brilliant, Lebowski. Brilliant comment.
So look, wanted to take you inside the war room a little bit, see how the guys would react to certain situations. As we say, we've seen a few pen throws from Paul, which is great to see, because on draft night, this is potentially what could happen.
Yeah, and no wonder likes of Jerry and Steven and Will McClure losing their hairlines as much as we are.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is definitely different doing that to the real life, though. You know, they're doing it for real. There's more pressure involved there.
Yeah.
See, bring up DJ Togg's comment there. Yeah. Like, this is why I did not like that trade, Mike. I didn't like it.
I didn't want to trade.
You admitted it before the time expired.
No, I was thinking about it, and I was like,
no.
I went back on myself.
Rules, mate. Rules are rules. It happened to me with the time expiry because I was trying to come up with an idea.
Listen, for the purpose of the exercise, Brian did his thing. But for me and you, we both know Jalen Carter was the pick in your one, and we didn't trade in my one.
But
yeah,
these are our moral wins, Paul. Moral wins.
in the name of the game that Brian's setting now, that we both lost it. Well, say I lost it the first one. You lost it this one.
All right. Or whatever technicalities are in there.
Oh my! The basket's on fire tonight. Oh,
so like that, just to give you a bit of insight, like the lads had no idea I was going to do that to them tonight.
I love this concept. I love it.
And the thing about this is, right, as Paul was kind of alluding to, in the war room, they will have done so many scenarios in the war room in the lead up to the draft. By the Saturday before the draft, they should have their board complete and ranked. And from Sunday, Monday, they will start making their own phone calls, just kind of seeing where teams are at. They'll have scenarios in mind. What if this player drops? What if this player is available? So like that, hopefully we've given you a little bit of insight into what it's going to be like in a war room scenario. And Lebarski has reviewed the footage, and Mike, you said, yes, I'll take it. All our picks. And some pancakes.
Yeah.
So, do we want to briefly run through some of the offensive tackles?
Yeah, let's do that, man.
All right. So, the first guy we're going to talk about was someone who was involved in that last scenario, who Mike made a trade of our first, third, and fifth rounders to get. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. So, what do we think of him as a player? And Mike, you've said he's a right tackle. Played on the left side for Georgia in back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, but it's more. It's for me. He still has a lot he needs to improve on. That the technique is still very raw, if you like, is the best way to do it. So he's inconsistent, and things just need a little bit of refinement. I don't want that on the left. If I'm on the left, I need consistency and confidence.
Yeah.
You have to look at the reasons why. I know you say he's been there in 2 nights, but he's literally started football late. And if you go to his game logs, like I think he's so far in college, he's played like 20 games, which is nothing. 19. So that's like zero experience. He's not a bad player. I like everything about him. But if he's on the right and he messes up and he's still learning, and because the ceiling's big for him, at least that can see him coming. On the left, you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want that on the left. He's a right tackle.
So is there potential that you draft him as left guard?
No. Well,
hold on. No. He's 6'4", so he's too tall.
It's too big.
6'4", 311, arm length 34, almost 35 inches.
So the arm length works, mind you, for tackle fair as well, which is fair enough. Like, So, it's the experience mixed with a couple of other things. I mean, you can get into like what he's more good at and the reasons why the technique is bad, but that's just like the initial bullet point on the reasons why.
In fairness, though, to him, though, he has given up 0 sacks last season.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I'm just looking at his stats right now. Like 7 QB hurries and 2 quarterback hits. That's the only time, but no sacks he's gave up.
He's a very intelligent player. He understands what he needs to do. Like what's funny is that he gets how to get leverage because he's strong and he's powerful, like ridiculously strong. He's constant in his level of aggression, but that's good and bad because that is why sometimes he fails on his technique, is that he's just out there to he just wants to just ragdoll everything. So he is a really, really good pass protector. Fantastic. But like because you have to look at the starts, you have to look at the over aggression which causes him to lean and go off balance. You then have to say, do you want that on the left protecting Dak's blind side? And we know what this offense is like when Dak isn't around. That's the issue.
Yeah. For a guy who seems to be a consensus top 10 pick,
I wouldn't call him top 10.
As you say, Mike, limited starts, unsure about his position. You don't think he's a starting left tackle in the league. Is it a risk? Like, I mean, Paul, you would always say it's a risk to take anybody.
Yeah.
Lottery.
I think with all the offensive tackles that could potentially run the first round, for me personally, I think Broderick Jones is either the biggest boom or bust out of the whole lot of them. Yeah. And that, I mean, it's no trying to throw any shade. It's just like Mike has perfectly highlighted. Like there has been levels of inconsistency. He still has a lot to learn. He is primarily a right tackle. Like he has, even though he did play all last season at left tackle pretty much and played a couple of snaps. I think it was like 10, 20, like 10, 15 snaps at right tackle or something like that. But is he really NFL caliber compared to some of the other guys we're going to mention? I would say no. Yeah. So is it really worth risking your first round draft pick, knowing that it's like with the option with a 5th year on top of that? Is it really worth to make a gamble on a player like that? I'd say no.
Yeah. So if we want to move on to the next guy, all right, and probably if you were to say Jones is 1A, Paris Johnson is probably 1B in terms of your offensive tackles. Again, out of the Ohio State, 6'6", 313, arm length 36 inches. Like, this guy is a big human being.
He's massive.
Yeah, he has the size and athleticism. There's a very high ceiling, but an even higher floor effectively with this guy. So he's ready to go. He's ready to play.
Yeah.
Tackle for you in this league. So, you know, what's the thoughts on Paris Johnson?
I prefer Paris Johnson to Broderick Jones. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, and also he has had experience playing in the guard position as well. Like back in 2021, he played the majority of that whole season playing at right guard. So there is a level of flexibility with him, which I do like. But he really did show. But again, we don't really need another left tackle. So for me, it would be kind of, if that's one player thinking we could put him in there at left guard if he's there available potentially. But it's, in terms of his run blocking, it's exceptionally good. His pass block is exceptionally good. It's not amazing compared to one of the guys I would like to talk about, from a guy from Northwestern, who I love to bits.
He's the next guy on the list.
Yeah. So and saying that, I do tell he did play a couple of snaps at left guard in his junior season.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's not, you got it. But I mean, like, the issue is, like you just said, it's good. You've seen him play guard. I don't think he's going to be playing guard in the NFL, Mike. But there again is a very similar problem that we just talked about. That the issue Paris Johnson has got is again the issue where he's only played left tackle for a limited number of games. So like he's a really, really good left tackle. Don't get me wrong. And playing tackle in the Big Ten is not an easy feat. If you play in the Big Ten and you've done well enough to keep sacks at bay, then you have to raise an eyebrow at that. He is a very smart player. He's powerful. He's quick. He gets how to mirror and also, on screens as well, because he's got that level of athleticism. He can move out on those screens and does it really, really well. The issue, though, of course, is I think it depends what you're looking for, because he is going to be a first-round pick. He will be. Yeah. But he needs to be going to the right team, because it's not so much that there's anything wrong with his pass protecting, but you're going to want him more because of his run blocking, because he's a really elite run blocker.
Yeah.
That's what he's good at. That's what they were doing over there with him. And I think some of it with the pass protection is because he just lacks the experience playing as a left tackle to know when he's trying to mirror, when he needs to combo, when he needs to, when he needs to shuffle back, because he's letting a lot of rushes. He lets them get inside and get hands on him, and you're trying to keep clean at most of the time. So that's when he struggles, and he struggles to get them off him then, because I think it's more to do with that he gets over leveraged or overpowered, and then he can't win it back.
Yeah. So Paul, I was going to pull that up. So just in terms of, say, Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson, and the next guy we're going to move on to is Peter Skoronski, right?
I love Skoronski. I love him.
Are we looking at these guys as potentially left guard options? Do you want one of these guys coming in as your guard over Steve Avila or Osiris Torrance?
Skoronski, you can kick in, definitely.
Yeah, he's 6'4". He's got that more like movable piece about him. He's still, he is like 313 pounds, 6'4", so he is smaller. But yeah, I'm just looking at his stats right now. Like, of all those offensive linemen, like his pass grade block is 93%. His run block grade 81.7. And his true pass set block grade is 92.3. That's exceptional. Right? And that's against like Nebraska, Maryland, Ohio State,
Big Ten again. It's the Big Ten again.
Wisconsin, Penn State.
To survive as a tackle in the Big Ten, it is already a big tick in the box. If you've done it and you look good, then you always get a tick in the box straight away. For me, anyway. The arm length is the reason, and I know people say, no, it really, really is. If you look like,
if he's in it, guard, the arm length doesn't really count as much.
No,
really.
Exactly. Yeah, you're inside. It's about playing small space, and so not that arm length is a concern. Then it's more about aggressiveness, technique. So for Skoronski, I think he's one of the most elite pass protectors in this year's draft. The issue is you are going to have to move him to guard. You are, because the issues that you have with him, is to more than anything, his issues are to do with strength and arm length. So the arm length and strength are one of the two. That's the reason he lacks the strength, is his arms are shorter. So he gets beaten easy because defenders can get on him quicker, so he can't disengage. Although his hands are really good, like some of the best hands in this year's draft. It just like the guy must do jiu-jitsu or something to keep those hands away. He's really good at it. But when they get on it, it's done, because I just think in the NFL you can't have that happen to you. So he's got a level of versatility to him that you can use to kick him inside, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
There's too many, like the arm length. If you go and look at it on a chart, and I think it's way down. It's like not even the top 10 percentile.
Yeah.
Like you want above 25% to be like, maybe I could do something with that. Less than 10, less than 25, you're gonna have to look at something else, because it's not gonna work. But Skoronski is amazing. He is really good, Paul. I'm with you. Just a pure athlete, pure intelligence, amazing hands. And also, he's got a really good anchor as well. Like, the guy's already anchoring. So when we're talking about moving him to guard, that's one of the big pluses.
Yeah.
I got no problem if the Cowboys did take him. It's just I don't see him falling off. I've got a first-round grade on Skoronski, so yeah. He's not going that far. And here's a good one, right? We all said we wanted Rashawn Slater. Is one of the points. And Skoronski, when he took over from Slater, actually looked even better. It didn't miss a beat when he came in. He came in and it looked just as good, and then over time got better. His ceiling is what it is. Skoronski's ceiling is massive. And when you think like, oh, we're all talking about Slater, like, oh God, imagine if the Cowboys got him. That would be amazing. Well, this guy is Rashawn Slater / a little bit better. He just seems to be, for whatever reason, and I think it's probably to do with the fact that everybody can see he can't play tackle. He's going to be playing guard. Why he doesn't get as much publicity as, say, Slater did, or the other tackles in this year's draft.
Yeah. My concern, and you've kind of nailed them all, Mike and Paul, is that I saw him live in the Northwestern Nebraska at the Air
Nebraska game
in August. And Nebraska kind of had their way with him. He did not look like an NFL prospect. As you always say, Mike, you want to see a guy who's moving to the next level. That's kind of like a dad with his kids. And I saw on many, many snaps, he got rocked off his anchor. He got pushed back, and he just didn't look as good as I wanted him to look as a prospect. And that's the concern. And I think that's why he seems to have dropped down the board this year. Like, I think he was maybe top 5, top 6 pick. Maybe at the start of the season, he's probably dropped down to the mid-teens at this stage. And that's the concern, is, are we already close to his ceiling? His floor might be so high, but is there enough left between his floor and his ceiling?
I'd say the ceiling has still got a way to go. Definitely. Because you look as well, you look that every year he came in, he got a little bit better. So his freshman year is fine. It's perfect. Not perfect, but it's fine. He's right on where you want him to be. He's taking over from where Slater left off. So, and it's on the money. Next year looks better. This year, even better again. So you look that we've talked about it before, the steady incline that you want to see throughout college. Skoronski has done that. So that tells you that he's still progressing. He's still getting better. He's still working towards it. So you think when he gets to the NFL, he's going to get, with NFL coaches, he's going to get better again. So the ceiling can only keep going.
Yeah. So I think, look, we're going over an hour and 15 minutes. So I think we'll just do one more guy for tonight.
Yeah, go on.
before we get out of here. So, who do you guys want to talk about? Who's the last guy you want to talk about?
Paul can have the honour.
Cody Mock, North Dakota State.
We've talked about Cody Mock for our guards a couple of weeks ago.
Bugger. It's crazy. He's marked in as a tackle.
Yeah. No, we covered him.
But he is going to be a guard.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
Yeah.
Like, tackles then, I suppose we could look at...
you got Dwan Jones, Daniel Wright.
Yeah. And there's a guy from a trash school.
and there's Anton Harrison from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
That would be the one.
So which of those guys do you want to go for?
Mike, you choose.
Well, why don't we just go with the biggest guy? The biggest guy got there. We've already done Ohio State, so let's do Dwan Jones.
Yeah, the big Durand.
He's just a big monster.
6'8" of pure monster, man.
He is a monster. Like, imagine seeing that coming off the bus, though. Like, that is, you heard him talking about it before. Like, the first guy off the bus.
Raymond Rich's favorite phrase.
Yeah, that's the guy you want off the bus. Like, the 380-pound guy that when he steps off the bus rocks and moves side to side. Like, I mean, he is a huge guy. Senior Bowl, because in some ways you kind of get a little bit lost watching the game sometimes, especially SEC with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwan Jones kind of little bit did with me anyway. But the Senior Bowl completely stood out. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is an absolute beast. His size is just massive. How you're going to get around it, the arm length, the wingspan, that's already brilliant. But, so that means that, by doing that, you run blocking, helping your teammates on the inside of you on combo blocks, or if there's twists coming your way, he's just going to gulp them up. And he does. Talking of twists, he is very aware of it. You can see he understands it, so that's a good thing. The issues is his mobility, because he's so big.
Yeah.
See, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and this kind of revolves to what type of team are going to draft this type of like. If you've got a mobile quarterback, you're not going to draft him. There's no way. There's no way. What is the point having a guy that's not going to be mobile for you and your quarterback? Like, you need someone like a pure pocket passer. Like, see if it was like Patrick Mahomes or something like that, he would be fantastic for Kansas City. Like, being that pocket passer. But see if it's like going to like Baltimore and you've got Lamar Jackson there, that's not going to work. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, go on, bro. Go on.
The issues I have, as you say, Mike, like, the size. But this gives me Daniel Falele vibes of last year. 6'8", 6'9", near a biscuit shy of 400. Do you know, like, is this guy just going to be able to have the athleticism for this league? Or is there a concern?
Yeah. I mean, the shiftier edges can get underneath. They literally can. They can get underneath him.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to say that that's how. It doesn't mean to say that that's like a problem. Is so much because you got to look at he led all offensive linemen in the FBS in pressure rate allowed.
Yeah,
that's how good he is. That he's got, in some ways, although he is a bit lumbering because he's so big and can get under him. Because he's got this massive wingspan and arm, he can get around and just be able, and he's got the strength to go with it too. He is really strong. So he can recover in that sense. The issue will be is if he gets a fast edge receiver in the NFL. I'm trying to think of some that also combine insane strength. Ironically, the guy he would struggle against would be Micah Parsons, but that doesn't make sense because most tackles struggle with Micah Parsons.
Sorry, mate. I don't know if you've just seen Labasky's comment there. So if we do go with Jones in the first, and let's just say Ika, which I do love, they would need to reinforce all the elevators at the star.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We certainly need to reinforce them when we all arrive in November.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he is. I like Dwan Jones. It would be interesting to see if he gets to Dallas and what they would do there. And like, you know, he's another guy again where if you put him in at right tackle, because Terrence Steele is really, really good at run blocking. And ironic, one of the best, I would say, run blocking right tackles in the NFL, which is ironic. But Dwan Jones is, again, if he was to give them a score, both Terrence Steele and Dwan Jones, their pass blocking and their run blocking scores would probably be exactly the same.
Yeah. Just question there for you both. Where would Tyler Smith rank in this year's draft?
Oh, he would be in the top 10 now.
Yeah.
Based on last year's performance.
Yeah. And then Labarsky has asked, what's our roll line if we take Jones or one of these other tackles? So that I suppose that really is the issue that we have. And why we kind of said, look, we kind of have to talk about offensive tackles. Like, you know, is Tyler Smith going to be your starting left tackle, or is it going to be Tyron? If Tyron is your left tackle, is Tyler Smith your left guard? You know, there's a lot of square pegs and a lot of round holes. And outside of Biadish and Zach Martin,
the issue the issue got with drafting a tackle this year would be that it's a pick. Is that would be, and especially if it's your first round pick, is that if you're taking him this year, it's a pick for next year. Easy play for next year because you're not going to start your rookie over Terrence Steele. You're not moving any of the guys around for that. So whoever this pick becomes your swing tackle. And then it's because even if Tyron Smith got injured, you're not going to plug and play. So he's not really even a swing tackle. He's only there if Terrence Steele gets injured. And you have to do a little bit of line shuffling around because it's a pick for next year. It is what it is, because then when Terrence Steele finishes it, well, if they did, it tells you a lot, because what that says is that we're only having Terrence Steele for this year, and next year it's going to be this guy as our play going forward. Then that's the trouble. And when you think that there's so much more that the Cowboys need, like in terms of wide receiver, cornerback, defensive tackle, inside offensive lineman, you think, do you really want to expose your team to having to wait on a first round pick this year to play next year?
Yeah. And it's a very valid concern to have, because I get why they might do it, given you could see Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele away after this season.
It does make sense, yeah.
When your window is what it is, your first round pick has to be a starter this year.
Yeah.
And a serious contributor this year.
Especially with the free agent moves they made as well. That you think that they're making these moves now. So go get those players that can contribute straight away. Make this the year.
Yeah. So we went a little bit longer than I think even we expected to do. Little Mac is just asking, should they consider drafting a center, considering Biadish is going into his contract year, or do we re-sign him?
this is why Steve Avila makes so much sense, because he
Yeah.
gives you the inside offensive line versatility. So you can put him in at guard if you want to, and you could put Tyler Smith out at left tackle. Next year, then you can look to draft your next tackle if you want to, or whatever. And if Biadish disappears, you put Avila in as your center because he's done it.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of Avila being picked number 26, to be honest.
Yeah.
Are we moving out then on a potential John Michael Schmidt?
No.
In the second round?
No, if he's there.
Mm-hmm.
If we take Jones. Oh, yeah, we answered that.
Yeah, we answered that one. So, look, we're nearly an hour and a half, and Jamie is actually messaging me here wondering how the podcast is going. So I've told him we're still going. So, look, obviously, Mike and Paul will be back on Thursday night. What are you doing for that show, gentlemen, or do we know at this stage?
We'll talk about the 30 visits, what that means. We don't have a guest this week because of things that have been going on. But next Thursday we do, and I'll keep that quiet for now.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yes. And then we'll be slowly working up then to the draft show, which we'll be covering all the days. We'll try and get some nice nifty guests on, and even try and get old Will McClay to come and pop back in for us. How's that going, Brian? I know you were trying to chat to him.
Tough. It's been tough this year. Well, look, before we get out of here, obviously we got to pay the old bills. So where is it? Paul, do you want to give the shout out?
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, be sure to go and check out Cowboys Experience for meet and greets, stadium tours, amazing game tickets, and an ultimate tailgating experience, and much, much more.
Very good. I'm just going to bring up a comment here from Labarsky. Where is it? Cam Latu. We spoke about Cam Latu a couple of weeks ago on this very show when we did the tight ends. So, potential late round tight end, definitely worth a mention. Mike, do you want to give a shout out to our content creators?
Make sure you go check them all out, guys. You've got 105 The Fan, all the Dallas Cowboys media staff shows, as well as Jeff Kavanaugh's. You've got all the other guys then, Big Game James, Pick Six Sports. We've had Nixon, and then you got Cam Fan and Watch Lombardi, all the rest of them. All good guys.
Absolutely. And Paul, the final one of the show.
Yes, guys, as you may know, the UK Cowboys are going to the Thanksgiving game next year, courtesy of Cowboys Experience, where they're offering an ultimate fan package for us. So be sure to go check out our Facebook group page and look for the more details, and also go check out Cowboys, get in contact with Cowboys Experience for more details.
Absolutely. As we say, you guys will be back Thursday at 9 p.m. here in Ireland and the UK. 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 3 o'clock in Texas, and 1 o'clock.